under isolation. We have taken samples of those that we're following up to the laboratory, and so far we have not confirmed any more positive cases. 8 close contacts to the affected are currently in self-quarantine and being followed up for COVID-19. I must emphasize that on the flight that 2 confirmed cases flew on, we had 82 passengers that disembarked at the KK, Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. The Zambia National Public Health Institute, through its surveillance officers, is in touch with all the 82 passengers, and we want to thank most of them for calling and getting in touch and communicating with our surveillance officers. As we speak, those who are at high risk are not only in self-quarantine, but are also being closely followed up. Colleagues, in our routine travel-related disease intelligence, we have screened 29,992 travelers, with 2,258 persons being from high-risk areas. Among those from the high-risk areas, 460 have been cleared under the 14-day quarantine watch, are negative and are not exhibiting any symptoms of disease. We continue to investigate alerts as they arise, and as this morning, we do not have any additional cases, like I said earlier on. Globally, the number of cases recorded as at 8 GMT this morning, a total of 220,000 cases, 199 cases, 220,109 cases have been reported. Deaths now stand at 8,982. Although many persons are still under treatment, 85,000 persons have fully recovered. In Africa, 34 countries, with Zambia being the latest, have been affected, and a total of 306 cases have been recorded, with 16 deaths. Distinguished ministers and members of the press, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, pitches public health security as a top priority and has directed an enhanced multi-sectoral response in line with the evidence that we have adduced in the last few days as the pandemic evolves. And I wish to announce additional key measures that have come into force with immediate effect in order for us to forestall COVID-19 from circulating in our communities. I'd like to emphasize that the rule of thumb is washing your hands and maintaining hygiene. Washing your hands and maintaining hygiene. Therefore, I reiterate the need for all public places to stick to the rules to ensure that there are hand washing facilities or hand sanitizers as we ply our trade. Further, social distancing entails that we continue to restrict mass gatherings, including events, conferences, and meetings until further notice. I will be asking the Honorable Minister of Religious Affairs to particularly speak about churches in a little while. Bars and nightclubs are directed to immediately reduce operating times to a maximum of 2 hours. The local authorities and authorized officers will monitor compliance and revoke licenses of those not complying. Human-to-human transmission is dependent on the contact time. Social distancing involves restricting the amount of time that we are in contact, one person to another. Restaurants are encouraged to offer takeaway services and minimize time of contact with their clients. The churches and other religious congregations, the minister will emphasize, will elaborate, but like we said, will reduce session times to a maximum of an hour and reduce the number of congregants, therefore may entail more services. With the issuance of statutory instruments 21 and 22 of 2020, all public places are expected to upgrade levels of hygiene. All public places must keep the environment clean, failure to which they risk being closed down. This weekend, we are going to suspend on Saturday and Sundays activities in our markets to ensure a thorough cleanup, and the Honorable Minister of Local Government will give details. I emphasize that our personal hygiene is key. Therefore, all members of the public are advised to continue practicing social distancing and avoid handshakes and close contact. Even when you're being offered money, please do not shake hands. All persons displaying symptoms must communicate to health authorities immediately for advice while remaining in self-quarantine. I emphasize the need for you to take advantage of the call numbers, the toll-free numbers that you've been given, to ensure that you communicate with our staff, and we advise on transportation and on further measures. I wish to assure you that the multi-sectoral team, as exemplified by the complexion of the high table, will continue to engage various stakeholders, including our cooperating partners, who we thank profusely for the tremendous support that they're giving to the response, the Church Mother Board, and some members of the public, in ensuring that is contained and prevented from escalating. The cases that we have seen are by and large imported cases, and we have not recorded human-to-human transmitted cases. And a lot of these cases that we, in fact, for the cases in Zambia and a lot of cases that we've recorded globally, air travel has been a big factor. And the Minister of Transport and Communication will give details on traffic, air traffic in the country. Distinguished colleagues from the press, we will only avoid from human to human if we stick to the rules. It is important that we express solidarity in what we do with the next person. And even as we congregate in unavoidable setups, numbers need to reduce. And it is important that you protect your neighbor. It is for this reason that our key partners, the religious leaders and the religious communities, have come on board very strongly in order to support the response. And it's at this juncture that I will ask the Minister of Religious Affairs to actually address the nation on that aspect.
Are we not able to use that font for the microphones to capture? The microphone, the PA microphone, yes, for the camera, for the microphones to capture, yeah, so that we don't move the microphones around.
It's on. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Health, and let me acknowledge the presence of my colleagues, the ministers, cabinet ministers present, senior government officials, the press. Let me also acknowledge the intervention that the church are undertaking. The church has a significant role to play in our response to COVID-19. And I want to encourage the church to continue to follow strictly the clear health hygiene instructions that the Ministry of Health has already given to us, mainly the washing of hands. At our churches, let us ensure that we put up facilities for the people to wash hands with soap and also sanitizer as they enter our church services, but also as they leave, they need to wash hands. And we have to do that regularly, even in our homes. We need to keep our church surroundings clean, ensure that we clean up our churches, both inside, out, and ensure that sanitary services are working, that we have clean toilets, and also that the facilities that I've mentioned are in place. Coming to the church services, as the Honorable Minister of Health has mentioned, we have to keep our numbers as low as possible. Let us look into that the numbers that attend church service, let us manage to keep them as low as possible. But also the duration of the church service should not be more than an hour. If you can do it in less than an hour, 30 minutes, come together, fellowship, and leave quickly, that will be commendable. The issue that we are dealing with is very, very critical. So let us make adjustments for the services, that we don't stay together more than an hour. And when the church service is finished, we have to disperse very, very quickly. Let me encourage the churches to also look at cell or house group fellowship. That may help us, that instead of gathering in big numbers, we can use those who have the cell system in place. They can gather in house groups or cell groups. And also, during this time, there should be no conferences, no church conferences. No church conferences should be held. And I would like to encourage the church leaders to disseminate this information to the congregants. I expect that in every church service, before you even go into prayers, talk about COVID-19. Share information, especially on hygiene. Lastly, I want to encourage the people of Zambia to pray. We need prayers. God has been very, very faithful to us. He has provided the protection. Let us pray in our homes. Let us pray for the nation of Zambia. We need that wisdom from God on how we are going to intervene in this situation. So I call upon all of us to spend time in prayer. I thank you.
We want to practice what we preach, so we also don't want to take long, and maybe to be orderly, the minister at the end can say something quickly so that we don't keep the media too long, and then Dr. Wanchinga, and then we'll go to the other ministers and come back to the Minister of Health.
The community engagement is extremely important, and we just dealt with the religious community. and let us continue to talk about enhanced community engagement. And the Minister of Communication, we will talk about air transportation at the end. And so let us finish with the community, to finish with the religious community, let us finish with the traditional leaders of community and the market community, then we'll end up with air freight.
You speak from there? It's becoming a bit disorganized.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Health. Allow me to recognize the presence of my colleague ministers here, permanent secretaries, other government officials present, colleagues from the media. I think a lot has already been said, except for the sake of emphasis on what we are supposed to do as sector ministries. I take the words of Honorable Siri as my own. We're telling people not to overstay in places of meetings. We shouldn't do the same ourselves. So, from our side as Minister of Local Government, I want to say here that cleanliness is actually #1 aspect of all the activities which we are going to monitor. Because if we are not going to maintain cleanliness, the surest thing is that we are not going to avoid the coronavirus. So when we talk about cleanliness, as a Minister of Local Government, we are hosts to markets, we are hosts to bus stations, we are hosts to shopping malls, we are hosts to churches even, schools, and we are also hosts to burial places. That is, where we take our departed to go and rest. I'll make a lot of emphasis on markets, bus stations, and shopping malls, as well as where we live in our compounds. Intervention #1, we want to ask all those people that are trading in the markets to take this as their own responsibility to keep the markets clean. They should not wait for the council to go and do the cleaning for them. They should help the local authorities to clean the markets. Keep the markets clean. #1, keep the surroundings in the markets clean. And we're going to do this by asking everybody to join us this Saturday and Sunday to kick off the clean markets, or keep the markets clean assignment, which we have in order for us to actually avoid or evade the spread of the virus. And we are saying this not only to markets in Lusaka, it is markets throughout the country. It is markets throughout the country. When we have done it this Saturday, we're not saying stop. It's just to kick off the clean campaign for the markets. Let's keep our markets clean all the time. Because the moment we avoid that, just know that we are courting problems. We have to make personal decisions ourselves to be in clean environments, or court the problem of getting the virus into our markets and then to our homes. We will not survive. This goes the same to bus stations. These are areas of high activity. People are meeting every day in bus stations because they are traveling. People are meeting every day in markets because they want to go and buy, others want to go and trade. Those who trade, they spend the rest of their days and possibly, we should say, lives in those markets. So it's very, very important for all of us to ensure that we take responsibility of what we are talking about here. We'll come just to tell you, let's clean, and when we go, it should not be like, oh, they have gone, now we can revert. You are putting yourselves in danger. Colleagues, those of you who spent all your lives times in the markets, because that's where all of us go to to look for food in shopping malls and so forth. So for shopping malls, we want to encourage that they should not stop providing sanitizers, where possible, water and soap, to ensure that whoever is entering their shops should do something of that sort. You know, prevention is always better than cure. So we can be helped if the owners of those shops can come on board and ensure that they follow the decisions which have been made. Our council officials will be passing through to check to ensure that everything is in place. But it should not look like it is the bother. It should not look like it is the bother at all. We are in it, all of us, together. Bus stations is the same. Bus owners will urge you to ensure that you put measures in your buses. At least somehow, let people sanitize themselves as they board your buses. It's one way of trying to reduce the possibility of people, transmitting the virus. So personal hygiene, very, very key. Don't throw garbage anyhow. It seems to be a tendency by most of us not to care where we throw our garbage. That is where it will start from. That is where it is going to start from. Let's ensure that garbage is thrown at designated places to make it easy for our council workers to come and pick up that garbage. Similarly, even where we live in our homes, in our compounds, let's take it upon ourselves to ensure that we are living in very clean and safe environments. In that way, you'll be helping government to ensure that coronavirus does not find Zambia as its place of domicility. I thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good afternoon now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just as much, I would like to recognize my colleagues here, the Minister of Information, the Minister of Health, Minister of Local Government and Chiefs and Traditional Affairs, Minister of Religious and Guidance, National Guidance and Regional Affairs, and Minister of Water and Minister of Transport. Look, I think this is of great importance that we come to speak to you, just to know what's happening and what we are doing in order to alleviate extensive, disruption of businesses around the country. I come here to speak about trade, and what I'm saying is we are very much aware that Zambia is very dependent on imports. And as such, if we want to do anything as regards to inflow of cargo by air, inflow of cargo by road, we will be doing a disruption, serious disruption to the flow of goods into our country, and that would impact greatly on the trade. So, as I speak right now, trade remains as number one, concern, and it will remain as usual. We'll trade as usual. Whatever will be impeding to stop the trade, that will be attended to at a later stage. We are ensuring that we make the Zambian nationals not to panic in buying their foodstuffs, because as it is, the shortage which you emanate from that is being created by ourselves. So we must ensure that we maintain the market on the high-class trading areas, the malls, the other shops will maintain as usual. Please, let's resist from being compelled by unknown circumstances to go and buy, things in panic. We are not envisaging any critical shortages as it is right now, because the flow is as normal, and we try to maintain as normal, but we'll have to put in places those contingencies which we think will help to maintain the situation as normal. We are right now talking to the manufacturing industries, processing industries, and the retail chain stores that we work together to avoid unnecessary, impediments along the supply chain. So it will be business as usual, but we will always ensure that you assist us not to just jump on the bandwagon and go and start buying. Don't forget, you're depleting your pocket when it's not necessary to do that, and then you remain by the end of the month without a penny, and without even the food you bought in bulk will still be there, and it won't serve you any purpose. The money for the other needs will have been depleted on panic buying, so please don't do that. We have requested the chain stores, the Game, the ShopRite, the Pick and Pay, the Woolworth, you name them. We need to ensure, like what the Minister of Local Government said, we need high standards of cleanliness. We need to ensure that sanitizers are all over. When you are entering, and mid-store as you walk, you must see where you can stop and clean your hands. One of the worst infection points is on your trolleys. The trolleys, those are highly handled by so many people. Ensure you sanitize. We only maintain our economy in good shape by the way we react to these things. So the responsibility is entirely upon us to ensure that we do the right things first so that we maintain our health. I need to also talk about the normal border posts. Border posts by road, they're not being closed, but effective screening will be attended to. So if one of the trackers is found to be suspect, then we apply in what the Ministry of Health are going to do in order to secure the good health of the Zambians, that person doesn't come in. But we won't block inflow of goods into our country. So don't think of buying bulk. When you're in the ShopRite or in Pick and Pay, just ensure that you keep a reasonable distance between yourself and the next client, so that you don't come into very close proximity, which would affect transmission. You walk at a distance. When you're going to the till, still maintain that distance. But we are ensuring with those people, and we'll let you know as soon as we've finished with the Minister of Health and Minister of Information to disseminate information further, how we are going to plan as regards to panic buying. So with that, unless there's something else we'd like, we ask the Minister of Health to continue. Thank you very much.
Minister of Chiefs Affairs is coming to tell us what is doing. Thank you so much, Minister. I'm sure this applies to all shops, not just the big ones, but all shops.
This is applicable to all shops. Nakantemba, you must behave the same way. When you go and buy from Nakantemba in your neighborhood, in the suburbs, please apply such kind of, hygiene.
Minister of Chiefs, what's the witchcraft around Corona?
I wish you could clear the efficacy issues. We should have sorted it out. Thank you. I recognize the presence of all my fellow cabinet ministers and permanent secretaries or senior government officials and the press. Our role as the Minister of Chiefs and Traditional Affairs in the coronavirus preparedness and response is basically emphasis on sensitization. You may wish to know that once a traditional leader speaks, they get to listen and get to do what the traditional leader is advising. So going forward, we are engaging and utilizing various traditional leaders in educating and communicating on the coronavirus through the sections of responsible persons, these chiefs, chieftainesses, head women, head men, and indunas, to take an active role in sensitization on the danger, causes, and effects of COVID-19. And in cautioning the communities in the chiefdoms on the practices that may aid the spread of COVID-19, resultantly, we have seen the BRAE positively responding and cancelling the Kuomboka ceremony. As we are engaging other chiefs, we may see more other traditional ceremonies being put on hold. And we are also creating awareness on the COVID-19 by recording voice messages of chiefs and chieftainesses and facilitate the dissemination on the risk through local radio stations as well as village group meetings. And in sensitizing the communities on traditional funeral rites, such as handling of dead bodies during funerals. In the last meeting, I did raise concerns that a number of IEC materials were published in English and distributed to the various chiefdoms. I wish to report that we have now received a good number of IEC materials printed in vernacular, and we have since distributed to all the 10 provincial officers and their Royal Highnesses who have internet connectivity. Basically, that is where we stand as Ministry of Chiefs and Traditional Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think now we are going to have the Minister of Water to join us here. As we are all aware, water is a critical component in keeping hygiene. And in this multi-sectoral approach, we thought it was just important that the Minister of Water is here to share with us what they're doing to ensure that citizens have access to water during this very difficult time. Minister Wanchika.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let me start by acknowledging the presence of the cabinet ministers here, senior government officials, members of the press here. And again, once again, thank you for the opportunity to update the nation on what the Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection is doing in the face of this national challenge on coronavirus. Let me start by assuring the nation that my ministry brings to this challenge the experience that we have had in combating diseases such as cholera. You can see 2020, 2019, has anybody here heard of outbreaks of cholera in Lusaka? So this is the experience we are bringing to the ministry. And in the face of this coronavirus, as a ministry, we are responding at 3 levels. The first level of response are the immediate measures that we are going to put in place, we are putting in place for walking an extra mile. Now, these measures for walking an extra mile will be implemented by our institutions that are responsible for service delivery in the area of water supply, sanitation, and environmental protection. So the first thing under level 1 that we are going to do is that we have instructed our utility companies not to disconnect any water supply to any household. So we have banned disconnections of water supplies. And secondly, we want to ensure that the supply period is sustained up to, as far as possible, 24 hours. A number of places around in Zambia, you find that water is only given for 8 hours or maybe 3 hours, but we want to ensure that there is continuous supply of water to every household that is already connected for 24 hours, including water supply at kiosks where this is the kind of service that is present. Thirdly, we have given to a number of our service providers a number of Bowsers. So this means then that in areas which are not ordinarily serviced with taps, these water Bowsers will be going around the compounds, making sure that they give water to every household. Fourthly, we are also going to ensure that we encourage service providers to work very closely with our men and women in uniform, because we know that ZNES, the Zambia Army, for instance, they have the capacity to provide water services through some of the facilities that they have. So we have urged our institutions to ensure that they work very closely with this in combating this. The fourth measure under level 1, the fifth measure under level 1 is the issue of heightened surveillance of sewage. You know, this hygiene, the seepage of sewer is a big challenge in some areas. So we have instructed our service providers to ensure that wherever there is a leakage, this is attended to very effectively and very quickly. We have also instructed service providers to ensure that they stockpile the chemicals for treatment. You know, water cleaning, making it safe requires that you have adequate supply of chemicals such as chlorine. So we have instructed them to ensure that there should be no time when we should get reports that they have run out of chlorine, because that means then that they will be exposing our people to these problems. And then there is the issue of the installation of standby generators. So we want to make sure that every utility company has a standby generator, because what it is that some of them complain about high tariffs from ZESCO, but we know that if we have these services provided by standby generators, we can prevent the problem that some of them have been complaining about. And also, we want to extend their areas, because ordinarily you find like Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company, Mulonga Water and Sewerage Company, they tend to confine themselves mostly to the core urban and peri-urban areas. So we have instructed them to extend their services to those rural areas, to the rural areas around the peri-urban areas. So at the second level, I think many of you are aware that the ministry is implementing 3 programs. We have the contingency plan for water supply. We are also implementing the National Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Program, and also the Urban Water Supply and Sanitation Program. These are programs which we have been implementing ordinarily, but our attention now in the case of this challenge is to upscale this activity. And to be able to amplify this upscaling, what we have done is that instead of relying entirely on government funding and funding interventions, we have compiled a list of all service providers, all NGOs, all in every province. And this information is going to be given to every member of parliament, to every councillor, eventually, to ensure that in the absence of government interventions, they should be able to approach these partners who are shown willingness to help us in supplying water to our communities. And lastly, at third level, is simply we are encouraging our institutions to very closely work with the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Information, in terms of implementing the measures that are being suggested, such as, for instance, every place where you go to pay for water supply, you should be able to find a sanitizer. We are also upscaling measures for environmental protection in terms of making sure that our environment is clean, and making sure that our institutions play their part in cleaning the environment, especially those measures that are being implemented nationally. I think, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the activities, some of the interventions the Ministry of Water, Sanitation, Environmental Protection is putting in place in support of the national effort to combat this national challenge. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much for that comprehensive statement. I think it was extremely timely. The citizens have truly benefited from this. And this is exactly what we mean by a multi-sectoral approach, that every line ministry has very specific activities to contribute in fighting corona. I think Minister of Communication and Transport, you have to share with us what you're specifically doing for the benefit of the citizens.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And Honorable Ministers, I recognize you, permanent secretaries, and other senior government officials, and all stakeholders, including the media. In the Ministry of Transport and Communications, we have come to the conclusion that our airports, the international airports, are very key. We need to manage our airports properly in order to make sure that cases which may be transported through these airports are actually detected so that people can be isolated. The Honorable Minister of Health has established that we have 2 confirmed cases here in Zambia, and these 2 confirmed cases were transported into the country via air transport. And this is why we are emphasizing on properly managing our airport terminals. To do this, we are making sure that the interventions which have been put in place by the Ministry of Health are actually followed. So in the ministry, we are intensifying our monitoring of the implementation of the the various controls that have been put in place. And we will continue to do so until this whole, this whole pandemic is completely managed. But we have also noted that there are other countries around the region which have cases, and so road transport also cannot be completely ignored. This is why people who are coming into the country, particularly here in Lusaka, we have established a dry port outside of Intercity. And so we have requested all of the bus operators, the international bus operators, to terminate in that dry port so that passengers there are screened before they actually transit to their final destination within the country. To just give an update on what is happening as a result of COVID-19, the Emirates has suspended, flights into Zambia, and South African Airways has also announced a reduction, of the number of flights into Zambia. That means that we will have, less people coming from epicenters or high-risk, areas, and so we will screen them. We'll make sure that they are screened by the health professionals who have been placed on our terminals, and our duty is to just ensure compliance and make sure that if there are improvements that we observe, to the existing measures, we can recommend to the Ministry of Health and other stakeholders to make sure, we are up to scratch. Let me end by appealing to the traveling public to cooperate with these health professionals, because I think when you travel, for a long distance, there's a temptation that you just want to reach home. These procedures we have put in place is to make sure that we are all safe. So even though we may be tired, let's just make sure that we comply with all these screening measures before we can proceed, to our final destination. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Minister of Communication and Transport. We're also aware that there are a lot of people that want to support government in this agenda of fighting coronavirus. As we said, we want to use this opportunity to communicate information to the public. And the Minister of Health and her Honor, the Vice President, are very happy to receive all the support in their offices at any given time, and I'm sure arrangements can be made to that effect. Our government is very grateful for all those people who are coming forward to try and support government in this agenda. As we said, we must practice what we preach. We don't want to keep people here very, very long. And this, as a government communication platform, we want to make sure that necessary information is given. I believe the Minister of Home Affairs has just joined us, and maybe you can come right away and give your statement so that we proceed to the end of this press briefing as quickly as possible. Honorable Kampiengo, please.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. And sorry for slight, I was here earlier and I rushed to go and attend to some emergency. First of all, I want to just appreciate and thank the Minister of Health for the measures that have already been put in place. I'm sure you all know that most of our entry points are manned by our officers from the Ministry of Home Affairs and Immigration Department. These are the first frontline officers that you meet when you are entering the country. But now there's been some change in terms of arrangements. Before you get to interact with the immigration officers, you have to be screened by the health practitioners to ascertain your status in terms of this virus. And so we encourage those that are traveling to make sure that they take care of their travel documents properly, and as they are sanitizing their hands, they make sure they also do the same with their traveling documents. And we are encouraging those who are wishing to travel to Zambia, and I think the Minister of Tourism has already spoken about this, to lessen the inflows. We know, of course, that the tourism industry is one of those industries that will be negatively affected by the inflows. And we have seen some slight reduction in the number of people that have been coming through from February to March this time. We are also grateful to the Minister of Health by ensuring that our officers, immigration officers that is, are also being provided with the materials, sanitary requisites, including the protective gear that they're supposed to be wearing. We are trying to put enhanced measures in our land-linked entry points and the busiest, being Nakonde, Chirundu, and Katimamuriro, as well as Kasumbalesa. You know, these are the busiest entry points. So we want to make sure that we enhance the measures that are already put in place there. It's not the first time we're doing this. I think the experience we had during the Ebola threat, the same measures that we're going to put in place. With regards to some of the measures we are instituting, the Ministry of Home Affairs, you know that the Zambia Police Service works 24/7 and all the days of the year. So we are, first of all, discouraging people, you know, to flock into our holding cells where we keep suspects, because even there we want to make sure that we maintain reasonable numbers. So those that are coming with pet crimes, we want to make sure that they're dealt with expeditiously instead of keeping them at the holding cells. And so, but that is not to encourage wrongdoers to think you get away with wrongdoing by not being kept in incarceration. But just to appeal to our members of the public that they must make sure they observe, the cleanest measures that are being proposed by the Minister of Health as they come to our facilities. We are going to also make sure that our police stations are provided with also the sanitary requisites. When you go to the police, make sure that you just as you are doing wherever you are going, make sure that you also, even as you are being a criminal suspect, make sure that you observe hygiene. So these are some of the measures, but our police will be on the ground. Some of these proposals that you have heard of, public places, bars being closed, area hours, these are matters that we are going to ensure are enforced, and our police will have to be on the ground to make sure that this is done. And of course, they'll be protected as well, because beyond those uniforms, they are human beings. So we have to just appeal to our members of the public to follow the recommendations that have been pronounced here by the Minister of Health, and I think the Minister of Local Government is equally doing the same. So drunkards must not feel we are inconveniencing you. We are protecting you in as much as you want to keep yourselves busy. With the correctional service, you know that we keep those that have offended society to try and reform them so that they become law-abiding and productive citizens. We are now challenged already before even this virus threat. We are overcrowded. We have our facilities overcrowded. And so on Saturday, we first of all going to also do a lockdown to clean all the correctional facilities. And we shall have some of our people from the correctional facilities participate in the cleaning exercises that will be embarked on of the public facilities, the markets, and other places. So we are requesting members of the public who have got relatives in the correctional facilities we are restricting visitations. So when you find that you are not allowed to see your relatives, there will be these restrictions that are going to be put in place. But there will be some considerations that will be done in that regard. So to assure the Honorable Minister of Health, we are going to participate in the cleanup exercise that has been recommended, and we are also going to ensure that we put our men and women on the ground in terms of patrols to ensure that all the recommendations that are being proposed are adhered to. So in the nutshell, that's the role that we are going to play for now. With regards to, I think, the travel bans, we haven't yet gotten to a level where we should say people from this country A, country B, will be, restricted in terms of entry.
Just discouraging.
But we are discouraging that even those that are applying for visas online will have to have their applications pended, especially from those high-risk countries. And for those that want to travel out of this country, but it must be essential and necessary. Those trips that can be avoided should be avoided, because we don't want to allow people exit only to expose them to the risks that they should avoid. So this is a short message from the Minister of Home Affairs.
Thank you very much. I think if we can just allow the Minister of Health to make a comment quickly so that we come to the end of this.
Well, thank you very much, colleague ministers, for your very, very strongly worded and timely counsel to the nation. Our friends from the press, I'd like to emphasize again that the government, under the leadership of His Excellency President Gachagua Lungu, prioritizes the health of our people, and therefore securing the health of our people and protecting them from health hazards remains a top priority. And this is the reason why His Excellency the President has directed a robust multi-sectoral response. We'll forge partnerships with corporate institutions and individuals who will support the response, and want to place on record again our gratitude to those who have already participated in the emergency response. Today, we have in our midst Surya Biofuels. Please could the chairman come forward, Mr. Kapesh Patel, and make his contribution to the response.
And please bear time, we need to close.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Minister. Country which produces ethanol in this country. I would like to say something about this company is.
You know, this day to start out this morning. But why won't you ask? You came to start out to see the president this morning.
But even the president can access, they can do it at your office. Not at the press room. This is wrong. You can do it in your
This
office.
company is situated, was started in 2019, 15th August, and still trying to move into election.
Cameras can come to your office, not at the press room.
Fully commencing
It's the same thing.
within a month, and having full capacity of doing 50,000 liters a day. We
Cameras can come
are
to your
doing
office.
this production of ethanol from molasses, cassava, and maize. We as
News.
coronavirus COVID-19, which we are saying we are donating 10,000 liters of methylphenidate and this hand sanitizer, which can be used as a spray, spraying into the hand and then giving it to the customer. I would like to introduce Colonel Kapembi, President Kapembi, to give more briefing on the company activity, what he is doing right now.
The Honorable Minister of Health, Minister MD, and may I simply say, all Honorable Ministers seated here, protocol observed.
News on the go with Diamond TV, powered by MTN.
Knowing how my family loves fruit, I thought of giving them a treat and introduce them to something new.
Juice it, time to have your juice. Blended with milk and juicy, juicy fruit. Juice it, time to have your juice. A little bit of milk and juicy, juicy fruit. So there's a little bit of milk and a little bit of fruit. Pineapple, mango, just to name a few. Mix them all together till it turns to juice. Take a sip, everyone, cause it's really, really good. Juice it, time to have your juice. Blended with milk and juicy, juicy fruit. Juice it, time to have your juice. A little bit of milk and juicy, juicy fruit.
Juice It Dairy Juice Blend, a fusion of freshness.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
Form King boasts itself in being a leading foam manufacturer that has a significant contribution in providing quality guaranteed mattresses and other foam products. We are major suppliers to national institutions such as hospitals, schools, hotels, lodges, and other established wholesale and retail organizations. Form King utilizes only high-quality raw materials sourced from leading suppliers. Our high-quality fabrics are especially made and designed for each of our mattresses and bed ranges. With precision carpentry skills coupled with advanced tech machinery, we are able to meet all your needs. Visit our head office on plot 6300 Kabundi Road off Mumbwa Road. Email sales@formking.com.zm. Call us on +260 211 287652 or 286776. Visit our Ndola office on plot 3084 Nakambala Road. Email us at sales.ndl@formking.com.zm or call us on +260 212 651 130 or 650 158. Visit our website on www.formking.com.zm. Form King, our secret to a good night's sleep.
Give my life to keep you safe and bright. With all my love, I'll lead your boat to shore. It's time to grow, to discover what the world has in store. I give my life, so let's begin with yours. Grow well, my child. I'll do my best to guard your flame. Live out your dreams. The world is there for you to take. Grow well, my child. Enjoy your life and feel the joy. Grow well, my child. You have my heart.
Delight Baby Cereal. Great start for little tummies.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
And if we do that, we will fend off the threat of COVID-19. The Zambia National Public Health Institute will continue to provide leadership at the command center in a multi-sectoral manner and ensure that enhanced surveillance at all ports of entry, land and airports is enhanced. All our district teams who are participating in surveillance, who are participating in disease intelligence, are urged to enhance their response and ensure that communities are empowered with adequate information to participate in the response. Zambia today still stands at 2 confirmed laboratory cases and will continue to update you as the epidemic or as the pandemic evolves. Our plan is a scalable plan and measures will be commensurate to the status of the pandemic. So we will continue updating you as the pandemic evolves. So we thank you most sincerely and we'll give you further updates on Saturday at 11 hours.
colleagues, before we leave, I think it's just important to note that if you need any clarification, our office is available, the Minister of Health, and all the colleagues here. It's very important that you keep in touch so that we fight this fake news that is on the internet. Like we said, if any information is not generated from this press conference,
with Diamond TV, powered by MTN.
Hey kids! Mommy, did you get them?
Get what?
Documents for Grandpa.
Sweetheart, of course I did. Okay, kids, come on. Let's wrap it up nicely before Grandpa gets here.
Where are my grandkids?
Grandpa! Grandpa, we have a gift for you.
Ooh, a gift for me. And what is it, my dear?
It's brown.
Oh, brown.
It's crunchy.
Ah, crunchy.
And it's so creamy.
Creamy.
And it has a favorite oat. Delicious.
I like it already.
Open it, Grandpa.
Ah, choc milk, my favorite.
Do you think Grandpa managed to choc milk? Does choc milk melt in your mouth?
Introducing Chelsea Choc Melts, the delicious melt-in-your-mouth chocolate cream oat biscuits from Chelsea.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
Vimbuzi vilibe konkare mu mugodi. Nchosa buda kumedwalika onze.
Sungani umoyo wabanja lanu, chingilizani manzi ya munyansi na vimbuzi vakonkiri mu mugodi. Vovomelesewa vevichoka kuli wa Lusaka Water and Storage Company.
Fruticana. You are the test of a perfect summer. You are my guest at every dinner. You be exciting about them killer. You are the reason now I'm with her. You say ni good to me lily. Life is better with you every day. You are the reason I'm feeling this way. Can nobody take this away? Fruity, kinda. You're the test of a perfect summer. Cause of you I love no other. Oh na. Fruity, kinda. Why did I have to discover? Because of you I love no other. Oh na.
Introducing Fruticana fruit juice. Fruticana, find your fruity side. Trade Kings, improving lives.
There is a core belief at the heart of Liquid Telecom. The belief that every individual has the right to be connected. The pursuit of this vision has seen us build the largest independent fiber network in Africa. From Cape to Cairo, we are connecting more of Africa. Liquid Telecom, building Africa's digital future.
Stay happier with DSTV's 2020. All you have to do is pay for your DSTV subscription and you get up to 42% discount. What's more, you get upgraded to the next package.
At once?
Just pay for your current package and get upgraded to the next package. With DSTV, even when times are tough, we got you.
For you, I can do anything.
Now, that's 2020. DSTV, feel every moment. T's and C's apply.
Yeah, I just washed this. Nalipate fiko ineshifoye fiko etumbo fesha boom. Nizonda dotindiye tamene nikondo service sabun. Makes your whites much whiter. White school shirts and laundry. Your surface is sparkling brighter. Your number one tough stain fighter. Introducing Boom Household Bleach, your new #1 bleach specifically formulated to bring out the whitest whites in your laundry, plus many more uses in your home. Your #1 household bleach. Boom Household Bleach.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
Are you ready to win big? Get into the game for real with a sport betting app shaking Zambia. CastleBet. Visit www.castle.bet to play. Call now or WhatsApp on 0969 966 599. CastleBet offers fast, instant payouts as soon as the final whistle blows. Cash out winnings instantly via MTN or Airtel Mobile Money or FNB ATM. Get into the game wherever you are. In the office, at the bar with friends, or even at home watching TV. Win 800,000 kwacha on any game thanks to the CastleBet app. You can even bet live during the match as you watch the game on TV. Join online in less than 30 seconds by visiting www.castle.bet or call or WhatsApp on 0969 966 599. Mwai wako.
How dare you stop in the middle of nowhere? Yet you know I've got an appointment.
Njota boss. Imozi chape moja. Njota chape wali just.
Nomba ichaka chove inenchudi demo.
You can't understand. Nidwa matendo kwa Zoom. Ngati sina mojo nichita so. So nifuna koloka mozi chape msitako. Okulisa nipase kwa one.
Difficult ndiwe.
Iwe chimida nileke iwe nipase iyo orange. Orange iyo orange. Boss, muliko na chigumu.
Na intumpika mojo. Are you ready?
Mgalina ife madiva ukwana ndiponso tisirizira pamozi taona kutiai tawi yambiri yatengewa ku press briefing ndipo nikalina mzanga uyu komati kalibora irana tienti kumbusane ko vimozi na vimozi vamine vakambapo pa press briefing taona kuti va minister yosiyana kambapo ndipo tamvera monga ise uko kuma chechi vanena kuti wani awa chabe chechi service funika yasira tachokako ndiponso kusamba mmanja osaivala kilini mabarombane na dandaura mabazi 2 hours chechi 1 hour icho chintu chandandaulisa ine chandandaulisa kulibe kuti chechi 1 hour maba 2 hours awe apo pega aonepo aonepo
ufunika cheko bavaliretu
kuvaliratu closing chechi nkaleko 1 hour ero watuzako nankani ya kuchita paniki kugula vintu vanena va minister of commerce kutiai and trading kutiai vintu vizankala nomo koma cleanliness mwameta kambira tieni tisaivale sanitizer mabagi maboda nayo yazankala open for now ndipo chawamiza nchakuti mpaka lero kuliye new cases ani vamene vala vaviri tyala kuliye kuti muname wenye uti ayo apaka nkhalateni ni boza ni vamene vala vaviri tyala and then market kilini vanena va minister of chani ava va local government va Charles Banda wanena kuti yayi market pa weekend kukave kukilina vakakiline bwino koma osaivala kuchita sensitize na ba minister of chiefs bakambapo nao kuti ai nao machifi na machiftenesi bagwepo kuuza abantu pankhani ya kilini kubauza pankhani ya matenda aya matenda ni matenda osasoberesa amene coronavirus COVID-19
mulwele bwakwanga
awe tieni tonse tigwepo maona na kuomboka vana kasura
teti iwe kokaija no kubako next month in April so teti kube mnadu wakwe batu sana abantu tabatie fwe kwa abantu kulabungana kwati ni ishimu
nao wakuota bakambapo a minister of water kuja and sanitation manena kuti ya imanzi kulie kuvala ombana dabwa ndanena chukakombo
message emo ili bala ndati yo lero takwabya amenshi so mutapile di mu amenshi ayende mnadu wakwe bati kulioko bale wameko leta amenshi sureni amenshi kulangalira kwa abantu ubwele bwabipa
nao wachite ichi ba minister of chite ba viva transport and communication manena kuti ai Emirates indeke vanavala veve kuliye kuwerako na South African Airways nayo yachita reduce ma flights kunena kuti ai koma zinthu zioneka ngazusebenzeka nao amabasi bakamba kuti ai mabasi akapyongo bakamba kuti mabasi funika kilini koma cleanliness ifuniko yambira paliseyo tieni tione kuti
kaibasi na kilina ngamulindo oti mukatinisha
maona oro wakata pali ponse chawama chabe we mwine tu sanitizers tu shota mu mabagi we mwine uzola kumanja bwino sakatakata kukomenso eresha kumenso ndiye kuloverala matenda so sakatakata mphuno meso mkamwa yayi moni nao yai maona so ndiye vintu vamene vakambapo tati naise tiuze kwanza tuko in case simnamvereko bwino kuti yai vintu hivi sivili bwino na nthawi nayo yasira kudala tieni tiraire
awe twatotera fyo mulandu wako tuishibishako ma ministers na ba minister of health batuishibishako pali ubulwele bwa coronavirus umwako isungira kanshi sent pose kwa mano fyefe balera ndate kwati chintu cha konkolubiro sentu chikonkolubiro na mwishwa ya malwele ngatamule tema lwele yakwe bati mwe kaifwe bana Zambia twali bana twali kwate inani katushinga nishi fitala tulafuwa kufimona tiyo kafifike kafiteshani tebulwele bwakulolero ko bati mumfike pamayanda iseni tukonke balelanda mwe bakweta ama Facebook na mfumona fyonse balelandapo fyonse fyachalanda na batumakali pama Facebook na mucheckinga na mmone efe chiri iseni tuposte kwa mana kuli amalwele ko bati yachimfike mulandu wa ifu fwe bantu nga twakwata obusaka ero twala mona ko bati coronavirus twaichimfya
awe nizona mwamna kambira muzanga kuti chiambira pali weka ngati wewe mwine wachiamba nishichizapitiriza mafamilies vana tientuone kuti tasunga bwino awe china program yatu itopi topics yatu mwaona kuti stina sirizise kuchita kuuza zimayi uko na banja kuti mzimayi akamwalira olo ni mzibambo zinthu zinkale bwanje valigo aid va sister Jere vaja va Catherine sivana sirizise ndiye next week tizankhala nao kuti vakasirizise pakuona pankhani yo kwatirira mnyumba amene mnamanga nao muzako amene akusiya olo kapena katundu wa mkazi akamwalira uyende kuti tizapitiriza nayo next week ndipo palero tingo kuti awe ambuya mudaliseni pamene mpitiriza kutamba Diamond TV na ma program yatu ya bwino yamene yapitiriza ndipo so ife madiva yokwana tingo kuti awe pitizani kudalisika kuimirira anzatu amene tili nawo mu transmission Mr. Charles na Mr. Temba tingo kuti awe tieni tipitirize kutamba Diamond TV yanu ilibe mashawa ya bwino na ma programs ya bwino ndipo pitirizani kudalisika pamene mtamba Diamond TV television reinvented
and growing Twafichi good are you ready good oh yeah oh no perfecting, growing.
This program was brought to you by Trade Kings Group.
Trade Kings, improving lives.